Hey, this is Hardline, Destructoid's video game news podcast. I'm Jordan Devore. Today, I'm back with my good friends, Stephen Hansen.
Hi!
Dale North.
Hey.
And Hamza Aziz.
Back again.
So, we didn't cancel the show. We just had issues the last 2 weeks. One was scheduling, one was we recorded the whole thing and it got lost due to reformatting. So, we didn't cancel it. It was a good one. But
we talked about sports.
For 3 seconds at the end, Steven managed to slip in a sports reference. That bastard.
I'm sorry I missed it.
You did miss it. You missed so much, Dale.
It sounds great.
The big story for this week is Irrational Games is essentially shutting down. And the whole story there was that Ken Levine came out with this sort of open letter saying that he's taking 15 employees, and they have this new studio under Take-Two, the original publisher, and they're going to do narrative games, I guess. Highly replayable, narrative-driven games is what he said.
For core gamers.
Yeah, for core gamers.
Whatever that
like us.
Is that what core gamers are? Okay.
He's going to make smaller Bioshocks that they don't have to pay a lot of people to make, basically.
He's going to make little Bioshockettes. They're going to be cute and downloadable and super hipstery, and it's going to be really good, guys. With my team of 15.
After the success of Bioshock Infinite, with the highest review scores and everything, I found this news almost irrational.
Oh man! Originally when I wrote it, I said something like it came as a shock to the system. And I was like, wait, that's so stupid. I need to edit this out.
I saw your story, and then I refreshed it, and that was gone. I was like, oh, you motherfucker. And I put that in the comments to last for forever.
And I got way too many upvotes. It's visible.
Shock to the system.
I was in a rush. So then I guess Bioshock is going to continue at 2K, which is probably not good for... It probably doesn't need to continue, but we'll see. I mean, Bioshock 2 I liked, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, Bioshock 2 wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't great, yeah. It wasn't really necessary.
No.
I never played the Minerva's Den thing that everyone says is better than the main game, that DLC.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I missed that too. What kind of...
Yeah, that's the people who made Gone Home. Some of them worked on that. Fulbright Company. So the main thing here is, and we were talking about this before we started, a bunch of people on Dtoid, commenters, were just shitting all over Ken Levine as if he decided I'm bored, so I'm going to close my studio. We really don't think it was his decision, per se. It's pretty clear that Bioshock Infinite took forever to develop for how little it sold based on expectations. So that studio, I think, was going down either way.
Ain't making no Grand Theft Auto 5 money.
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all. The problem is, like, it could have been worded, that letter to the fans or whatever it was, could have been worded so many different ways to look better, and it was almost, there are a lot of people that try to read into these things and pick out the worst, but they just look bad to me, like from the way it was put out.
Well, it seemed like a thing for him to save face, or like for Take-Two to show, we still have Ken on board and he's wants to do things with us, so his future projects, keep looking out for those. But at the same time, it also comes out as, he just wanted to shut everything down and everyone else loses their jobs. Oh well.
Yeah.
It did read to me like every line had been vetted by by Take-Two.
Yeah.
It was very pro Take-Two. But yeah, definitely, it sucks for everyone who lost their job. Of course.
For sure.
It again does highlight at least how supportive the development in industry in general is, because as soon as that news came out, like, you saw floods of tweets from people saying Nexon is hiring or this company's hiring. There's like a big Google Doc out there right now.
2 different people came out with Google Docs, independent of each other, for job opportunities for people. So
I like the docs, but I kind of don't like some of the tweets that are like from from these studios themselves are like, oh, I'm sorry about you closing, but we're fucking balling over here. We're pouring champagnes in our head every morning for our meetings, so sucks for you, but if you can get in here, that might be better for you.
Was that one of the free-to-play or mobile companies saying that?
This came off really wrong. They weren't that bad, but at the same time, have some respect.
There are people who take to Twitter. It seems like some journalists do this too, and it's like they're really trying to go on the opportunity and make themselves look good to some extent, which is, it is what it is.
I mean, we know a lot of these people because they're our peers, and some of them are friends, and some of them aren't. But the people that mean well, you can definitely see it and what they do with it. And there's people that absolutely do not mean well and are digging for something, and that's just gross. This is already a not great situation, and already some really hard, sad news for the industry. To make it into something else of any type is weird.
Do you kind of see this happening more and more? Like these AAA studios just kind of going by the wayside and more smaller focus on development?
Yeah. As maybe one of the small handful of indie game websites, like I would like to think that our smaller, tighter, more closely managed, more carefully selected way of doing things is the way to go. And at least right now, it seems that is kind of the way to go for games. And that anything that costs more than these small games that seem to be making a lot of money just feels like a dumb choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
some of it is spin, though. Some of it is just like, it's still kind of AAA, right? The backing is AAA, or the companies are still big, but they've kind of spun it in a way where, it's going to be a small team now, and expect these small games from these small teams, small, digital download, hipster, and like, it really isn't, because some of these have marketing muscles that's just ridiculous.
But that's the thing, though, is that those small companies with that, huge corporate backing have more potential to like be the one company that does make a $3 million selling game, but without the a bunch of people's lives being ruined over it if it doesn't sell. So that's good.
I see what you're saying there, but isn't it kind of weird that there's definitely an opportunity for say like Sony or Microsoft or whatever to get on board with this, obviously. But there's this weird gray line now where it was used to be pure I'm broke as shit indies that may have hit it big and it's a massive success story, or you were AAA. Now there's this really weird gray area that's pretty wide, and it's filled with people that got a chunk of change from someone else, or they owed money, or somehow later in the process they were tied into something that helped them market, or it was kickstarted, or I'm not saying that gray area is bad, but like you almost can't call anything purely indie anymore. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
No, I mean indies become sort of useless as an identifier at this point when indie games are multi-million-dollar projects.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense for a big studio, instead of trying to have a bunch of big studios under them making a bunch of AAA games, you only have to pay 10 salaries, and that person's game might be just as successful as your 200 team game, and then why not take 200 people in 10 teams of 20 and have a higher chance of one of those games making a lot of money rather than putting it all on one game with 200 people.
Makes sense to me.
Kind of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan, you'd be able to speak on this the best, but that's kind of what Double Fine is doing, isn't it?
With the Amnesia Fortnite stuff, a little bit. So basically what that is, that they have a new one. It's basically their internal game jam, except it's not really internal because now they stream it. But they have that, it's back this year, and they had people vote on 4 games that would go into production for 2 weeks. You pay money, you get the prototypes when they're finished. So yeah, a few of their games in development right now came out of a previous Fortnite. So I think that is a good model for some companies, but games are weird in that a lot of this discussion, I kind of think of it in terms of Hollywood, but I don't know how good that comparison is, because the way movies work, studios have all these giant blockbusters, and our equivalent, I guess, would be Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, those sorts of things. But I feel like there really isn't that middle ground anymore, where we do have GTA still, but just like Irrational would have been in the middle as far as AAA, and now they're gone. That's kind of going away. You're either completely balls to the wall AAA, super expensive but super high profit potential, or you're indie. So, yeah, we were talking about. I do think that we are going to see more studios closing.
It's a little bit more like what book publishing has turned into, and book publishing is fucking awful. But basically, book publishing houses will throw all their money at like a reality TV star's autobiography, like pay all like 90% of their budget to get the rights to that big book that's gonna sell well because people want shit. And then, with whatever's left, they'll farm out some money to like actual novelists or whatever. But they throw all their money at like the big contracts and like self-help books and other shit that sells really well. And then there's a little bit of money left over for like actual good writing.
It's a weird system. That system is kind of prevalent in all entertainment industries, but yeah, I am worried for some studios this console generation.
Yeah, me too. You can always just fake it, right? Just fake it. Fucking Call of Duty stops selling one day magically. I don't know. That's never going to happen. But you could make a fucking top-down RTS Call of Duty. Oh, my God. That makes me sick just thinking about it.
They kind of did.
I know.
It was a top-down shooter. Never mind. But, yeah.
They did? What is this?
It was the Easter egg in Black Ops 2.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. It was pretty
fucking trading card game.
But I don't know, sustainable middle-tier development, I think, can still exist. But now it's like, it's either you can have it on the sort of indie or the bigger, like Sony Japan is, not small, but it's usually like smallish teams working on a bunch of weird projects, stuff like, Tokyo Jungle and Puppeteer and whatever.
Yeah. Or
like Gravity Rush. Or, you get like Supergiant Games is like 17 people working on Transistor. Like, you can still have these smaller, tighter ships that aren't like 2 people in a garage. It's like a proper studio and keep being successful.
That I do think that is a pretty good size. The like under 50, closer to 25, but
I'm trying to think of some. Sorry, I'm trying to think of some second tier studios or however we want to identify it, like first party, second party. I'm thinking like NASCAR and the Cabela games, that kind of thing, because they actually sell. They don't sell to you, me.
Right. Yeah, they sell a lot.
Yeah, they sell a lot, and there's like these random studios. So like it seems like if you're licensed, you're okay at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
What's just kind of cool about games, there's a place for everyone, especially now. It doesn't matter what you want to do, what size you want to do it, your budget, whatever. There's a place for everyone.
It does. To some extent, it does seem like Kickstarter is saving some of these companies, and that they can make these, like what's that new game, Kingdom Come, by Warhorse or something like that. That was the game that publishers didn't want. They looked pretty awesome. It's sort of this first person medieval RPG sort of sandbox thing. And that raised like £1 million. It's a European Kickstarter, so.
Yeah, and it's a realistic medieval RPG. It's not like
it is
thing. It's like this is a simulation.
As someone who doesn't like medieval RPGs, like this game actually looks cool to me.
This is the Madden of medieval RPGs.
Wow, wow.
Technically.
Doom exists, guys. I wasn't sure it did.
I thought Doom 4 came out years ago.
I did too.
I was Doom 3.
I actually, I got to write the story up about Wolfenstein's release date being tied with Doom, and when they sent me the pre-advanced press release, I'm like, there's a new Doom game coming out? Was I completely under a rock for the last year and a half or whatever? And I asked them that, and then I started looking around, and then I realized, oh, Doom 4 never came out. It feels like it should have come out already, but
stuff. There were pictures or concept art or something came out about it, and if I remember correctly, they stopped going in that direction, so we don't really know what it looks like now.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that, but
And
It
the
was
fact
like
that
really gray gunmetal-y, right?
yeah.
sure. Every first-person shooter? No, but the fact that they're even calling it just Doom, the next Doom game, like, are they completely going a different direction to the point where it's a revitalize, like they're rebooting the series again?
Maybe. I feel like every Doom is basically the same story, though, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's probably on Mars shooting demons as a Marine. Yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be a top-down RTS.
That would be so great. Free-to-play mobile game by EA.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's really it. That's the entire story. That's all we know. If you pre-order Wolfenstein, which comes out this May now, you get access to the Doom beta. When is the Doom beta live?
Is that
Maybe in the next
Wolfenstein
4 years?
a sequel, a reboot, or
Wolfenstein is, I think, a reboot.
A
Well,
reboot?
I think it's like both.
like
if
is
that
it
makes
related
any
to the one that
sense.
came out a few years ago?
Sure.
This is not the same as that.
No.
Okay.
No. This one looks decent from what I've seen and played.
Well, you play as the main character from the original game, BJ, whatever, Novak.
I can never remember or say it properly.
So there's that. So maybe it is a sequel. I don't know.
There's like metal wolf dogs in it that kill you.
Yeah,
That's cool, I guess.
I do like the concept the game's going with like America's been taken over. You're a 1960 American occupied Nazi, like USA now.
It's Red Dawn, but Nazis.
With
Sure.
mechs. The Nazis have mechs now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I like the concept, but when I played it last E3, I was just like, eh.
It had this. They delayed it. By the time this finally comes out, it's gonna feel old. I think.
What's with Nazis, like alternate histories where Nazis have like really weird robots? I feel like that's a common thing.
Robots.
Because it's true, Steven. They really had robots. We just don't talk about it a lot in American history.
True fact.
They have robot dogs. I mean, I thought this was common.
That is a good point, though. Like, what? Were Nazis smarter than everyone else? Were they able to invent robots? Not us?
Well,
Yeah.
we did have to steal all their scientists after the war, so.
Yeah, they got the telepathy down. They got the metal dogs and the really thin mustaches, and man, of course.
Well, Chaplin had that mustache.
That's true. Nazi.
I hope they have a level in the new Wolfenstein where it's just you getting lost in a maze for 45 minutes as a callback to the original.
I hope they have a level where you play as Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, there's just like a silent film level.
Your weapon is a cane that you
You're
fight
just-
against.
Fight against Buster Keaton.
poking walls, hoping one of them opens up into a secret area with trinkets to get.
Yeah, I play the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a new indie game that I heard is coming from a spin-off studio.
Twin stick indie mobile game. Great.
Yeah, it's a mobile game.
What do we think about Chroma? The Harmonix and Hidden Path Entertainment.
This is my browser choice.
chameleon.
This is like the first
my favorite
person
browser.
shooter podcast episode, basically.
It is. Dale, tell us about it. You got to. Did you play it or did you just see it?
I played it. Yeah,
Okay.
I was really, usually when we first hear about something, it's forever until we get to play it, right?
Yeah.
Harmonix was like, "Yo, you're gonna be at DICE, right?" I'm like, "Yes." Come check out something. They didn't say a new game or whatever. And then I show up in a room and it's a new game. And by that time, I'd heard rumors because no one can keep a secret in this industry. So I knew what it was. But sitting down, I actually got to see firsthand a musical first-person shooter, which is just the weirdest thing in the world.
I don't. So I only skimmed your preview. I still don't really know what that means. How is it
Me
music?
neither, and I played it.
Does music happen when you shoot your gun? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, any opportunity for them to tie shooters to music happened.
Okay.
So yes, music comes out of your gun in a sense. Sounds do that musically harmonize and sync rhythmically with the music that's playing. That's just kind of like a base level thing because all your weaponry is tied to the beats. To the extent that you really, some guns won't even fire unless you fire them on the beat. Say like you have a sniper rifle, you can shoot that, but if you shot the rifle on the downbeat, that's a one-hit kill, you know. So they kind of played with some ideas to, I guess, to get you to be more musical while you're playing the shooter. But what that does is it slows the whole shooter aspect down. You can't just run in and kill something because, well, I guess you could, but the advantage is definitely given to someone that's paying attention to the music, which is just really weird. So it's arena-based, and it looks really cool because it's almost monochromatic, but it's got crazy lightning effects of orange and blue, and it's impressive to look at, and the idea is super impressive. It's just that the build that I played was so early that it was kind of hard to appreciate some of the ideas. It'll be really cool if they figure it out. That was my preview in a nutshell, actually. So.
Yeah, I don't know how well this is going to do for them. So it's sorry to say.
It's a weird thing. What else was Harmonix going to do?
What? What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. If they weren't going to make a weird first-person shooter music game, like
talk to Sony and get the rights to Parappa and put it on the Vita so you can actually lock down the timing.
Yeah.
And then call me to do the music.
That PSP port is just infuriating.
That is, like, I can't believe that was released. If you've ever played that is just like...
I own it, yeah.
Yeah, that is just... I'm still blown away. It's been years, and I'm still blown away that was released. I wish I could have reviewed that, man. I would have Jim Sterling that shit up. I would have ripped it... I would have ripped it to shreds, because it was just like... It was a total disservice to the franchise. Like, it was almost like they didn't care. It was here's a game that you may have known that doesn't actually work. Here you go, $40. But yeah, Harmonix should do that because they would do that justice, right? I don't, they're musicians. That's what I love about them is that, like, the whole company is musicians. So the more musical I think that a game can be, the better it'll be. And I'm personally kind of done with like the instrument thing, and I think a lot of the market is too. But there's still opportunities for stories to be told, and I'm looking for less interactive and more just simple and fun. Get back to their original games. Straight up music, puzzle, anything like that.
Yeah, Rock Band Blitz was pretty fun for what it was.
Yeah. They could have done more with that, though, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so it's like either make a new music puzzle game or make a puzzle music shooter thing.
Make a stealth action dance simulator. You have to sneak into bases and dance.
Yeah,
dance behind guards. The longer
dance. Oh, that's a good idea.
So let's.
I actually have a full concept for that idea. I was making that as a joke in response to the shooter, but I have a good idea based on that. What I just said.
In my almost 10 years of bullshitting with industry people, I have a document of basically, they're basically game summaries. Like some of them could be like blown up to a full design doc. Some of them are just really stupid and you could never do anything with. But that needs to be added to the list because I would play the shit out of that game, right?
Okay. All right. So here's like the full concept. So it's a black and white. Okay, yeah.
Sit down.
It's a black and white world. Like there's no color in the world.
Oh god.
You're just like this random dude, and then for whatever reason.
So NeoGAF is going to be mad about the one color thing because that's the first thing they'll look for. So okay.
Hang on.
I'm your advisor. You paid me as an advisor. I'm telling you how this is going to go.
It starts off like that. You're just like this random dude, right? And for whatever reason, you all of a sudden get this power to bring back color into the world, and the only way to do that is by dancing.
You are DeBlob. You are DeBlob.
Basically, DeBlob, but it's a dance simulator.
DeBlob cheating on Epic Mickey. Keep going.
No, but that's really like.
Yeah, Saboteur. Are you dancing for Nazis, Hamza? With Max?
Are you Charlie Chaplin? Are you
You
are you
are
fucking Charlie
Nazi
Chaplin?
robots bringing back the color.
Someone needs to make a great dictator game.
Oh my god, yes. I would play that.
I'm sure there are mods like that out there.
Someone needs to make a full game.
You know what? Actually, there is that one Paradox game, Heart of Irons 2 or Heart of Irons 4 or whatever. You could play as Germany and take over the world. This is during World War II, so you're playing as the Nazis.
But what if it was like, what if it was JRPG style, where your party was just like
Boring.
Yeah.
Who's who said JRPG?
Yeah, you put your little dance game up against JRPG.
I'm keeping it in rhythm still.
I'm imagining more like a Metal Gear, except instead of choking someone out from the back, you just dance behind them.
Yeah, basically, Metal Gear meets the Blob.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not the Blob.
Meets Persona 4 Dancing All Night.
That's what I'm thinking, exactly.
There's your new rhythm game.
Yeah, I know. That's a game in 2014.
Actually, that would be a good sequel for Elite Beat Agents.
That's what needs to happen. New Elite Beat. Do it.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Didn't you like Michael Jackson? Whatever that game was?
No.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. Little Japanese white Michael Jackson. Exactly. I love that game. So that's kind of like an indie thing while we're talking about indies, right? It's like something in the vein of something, and then you look at it, you look at the Kickstarter, and like, that's not in the vein of that. That's not even close to what you were talking about. I'm offended.
Well, the worst thing is when you get like 8 different adjectives, just like this is a tower defense, Metroidvania, RTS, mech shooter hybrid. Like, oh my god.
There's a reason for that though, because someone figured out the more of those bullshit adjectives you tack on, the more clicks you get. Just like nonsensical. Oh, here's $50. Like, did you sit there and think about the idea? Like, that's never going to work out, you know.
I think some of those are kind of malicious intent, but some developers are just terrible at describing their games, so it's a little bit of both. But definitely,
it's like Dark Souls meets this, and like, oh, just why don't you tell me what it is and not what it's like?
Like, okay, it's a bowling game.
Bowling meets Metroidvania. There has been a lot of Metroidvania usage lately.
There hasn't been a lot of Metroidvania bowling games, though.
No.
That market.
So that's the whole game. You get a second chance. You could throw. I mean, you could just roll down the aisle. So you bowl, right? And then you could like Metroid down the aisle for a second chance to knock down extra pins. So that's the whole twist of the game is you get a second throw.
You have powers?
Yeah. So like say like you're Simon and you can just like So you throw your ball out and you miss the 9.
Simon.
Yeah, Simon. All right, and you can just like snap a whip and knock out a pin, right? Wasn't that great?
Well, you get a second throw in bowling, don't you?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you. Oh fuck. All right, then you get 4 turns. How about that?
Maybe you can switch lanes?
Oh yeah, you can.
Reasons.
No, that doesn't work.
I don't know.
And this is why we just report on the games, not
so we don't make them.
That's why I have that design document that's full of great ideas that'll never get made because they're stupid.
Well, the dancing one was pretty good, but
yeah, that has potential.
If we make it a Metroidvania, we can kickstart it.
It's an old school RPG.
What pisses me off is I've explained a few to people, and they are like, okay, that's a game. I'm like, great, cool. Now, I did have one, and after a PAX East last year, about this time last year, I explained it to a whole bunch of people that came up to talk to me after the panel, and people were shitting their pants. And so I'm pretty excited. Like, I almost wish I didn't say anything, because I kind of want to give this to someone and help them run with it, you know? It's really, really good. It's like a defenseless survival horror that's just really fucked up. Like, fucked up in the worst way. I know everyone has a survival horror game, but mine is legit. Mine is legit in that you're running most of the time, and you're pretty much always defenseless. But through that, you're told a really cool story, and it's about you and your sister and how you had a fucked up life and how it's probably going to get more fucked up than that. So I don't know. One day maybe I'll get to make it. Yeah. Well. We'll see. It's either that or my Corgi strategy RPG.
Weren't the Fatal Frame series games kind of like that?
Yeah, so it's
Crimson
definitely
Butterfly.
my Kickstarter. And by the way, I would never do Kickstarter, but my Kickstarter would be.
It's just like Fatal Frame, guys.
I wouldn't say just like. I love Fatal Frame with all my heart, but yeah, it definitely has some inspiration from Fatal Frame because those are badass games that not only
Also Dark Souls, also Metroidvania.
Of
That's
course,
the best way to
Metroidvania
do
is
it.
canon, right? It's every game is Metroidvania.
The best way to get away, the thing to do if you have a Kickstarter is just say, here are the games I'm inspired by, and then proceed to list with like the most critically acclaimed games of the last decade.
Go to Metacritic, pick the top 50 games, pick 10 at random, and say your game is like that. Not that I hate Kickstarter or anything, because I don't hate it.
No, but it's not. Yeah, there are good things on Kickstarter for sure.
Like Flappy Birds 2. I wish I was joking. I am not joking. Someone did that.
I believe you.
Good.
I really like when someone just invents a genre by taking beat 'em up, but just changing the verb.
Yeah, up, something up.
Yeah, I actually really, really enjoy that when it just totally makes absolutely no sense.
Photography,
up. Like Classroom Aquatic, the dolphin. You're in a dolphin exchange school, and it's just like, yeah, it's a cheat 'em up. So you gotta cheat on your test.
Right. Refilling my mechanical pencil with lead him up. I still I was joking about photography him up, but I really like the idea of somehow battling by taking pictures.
Nintendo needs to get on that with Pokemon Snap for Wii U.
Pokemon Snap is one of the best things ever.
How does Nintendo make so many awful Pokemon spin-offs and not make more Pokemon Snap?
Because it would be too cool. It would make so much sense that
it would save the Wii U. We don't want that.
Well, it made so much. It made so much sense 7 years ago when the Wii came out because it's a fucking pointer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it would work with the Wii U too, with the gamepad setup and everything. But instead, no, they're making horrible-looking Yoshi Island sequels.
Well, before we get to that, there is good Pokemon, and it's on Twitch of all things. Have you guys followed Twitch Plays Pokemon at all? It's so good. Well,
only your gifs.
It's not fun to watch. It's fun to hear about, if that makes sense. Because it's like it took them, I don't even know, multiple hours to cut down a single tree that was in their way. So for people who don't know, it's you type in a command like up, down, A in chat, and it will take that input, and you're doing this with other people, and then the game will do it. But
so imagine trying to do that with 75,000 other people at the same time.
Yes.
That's Twitch Plays Pokemon.
And a lot of them are trolls too, so it's insanity. And then there's all this crazy fiction that's come out of it, like you get a Helix fossil in the game that you're supposed to turn into a Pokemon. That's one of their only items, and they keep accidentally using it, and you can't use it. And so now the fiction is like you consult the Helix fossil for wisdom, and it's stuff like that. It's so funny. There's all these great gifts.
The fact that people are able to watch this long enough to create memes and gifs of this,
full-blown memes. There's hand-drawn comics. There's animation. Yep. They're all amazing too. Just to see it was a really great idea, right? This is a very simple idea to just blow up into a number of memes and just this humongous following. Super cool, man.
My favorite aspect of this whole thing is that all the commands people are inputting into Twitch Plays Pokemon is also being applied to another Twitch streamer who's playing Tetris, the original Tetris for Nintendo or whatever, and all the inputs are going to that game as well. So people are secretly playing a game of Tetris and they don't even realize it.
That's great.
And then there's been a bunch of knockoffs too happening. There was one for Street Fighter 2.
When I watched
Pokemon
that one,
games,
it was a disaster. The Street Fighter one. It was just them standing still punching.
Wouldn't you just time out?
Exactly.
Time?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what was happening.
It needed to work.
The magic of a role-playing game like Pokemon is that you have all the time in the world until something happens. There's just so many opportunities for hilariousness. I think with that really nothing's gonna be better.
I wonder how much money this guy has made.
Probably
all the ads
if he wanted to make a lot of money, he would charge people to be in chat, to use chat. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
People would pay.
Yeah, people would. That's not a bad idea.
Pay 5 cents per input.
No. You would pay for, like, say you had an hour
or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is Twitch only. Subscription only chat actually. So if you pay $5 a month or whatever.
Exactly.
Exclusive. And I thought of that at the very first moment this thing went popular, and no one's actually capitalized on that yet. But
we don't even know who made this. The person's anonymous.
Yeah.
At least last I heard, he or she still was anonymous. So pretty cool.
Probably for the best after what happened to the Flappy Birds dude.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nothing really happened to him though.
I hope not.
Are you kidding me? He got
constant death threats. And...
Yeah, I know, but that was it was almost.
But it was to the point where he took his own game off of iTunes.
I thought you were going to say he took his own life, and I'm like, what?
Oh no.
That was super dramatic. I get death threats. You get death threats. If you were just public, you get death threats for no fucking reason.
Right, but to this scale, where he became the #1 worldwide free app.
Oh. Remember the private messages we got the other day?
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of feel for Flappy Bird dude, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, but imagine you getting that a million times a day.
I know, it's hard.
Through various means, on email, Twitter.
There are days where I get 2 shitty things, and I just hate my life, So yeah. I feel, I'm just being a dick. But that game was making a shit ton of money for advertising.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, he made enough money, so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If I were him,
we did talk about this in our last episode. I got scrapped, unfortunately, but that whole thing created the Flappy Jam.
Oh yeah,
thing, and then Terry Cavanaugh made Maverick Bird, which is actually fun.
There was a pretty good Metroid one too, where you're Samus and you sort of do
Metroid.
It was good though.
It's a Metroidvania
because
Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
It's one of those the screen moves, so you can hit things and it doesn't kill you, but there's spikes on the ceiling and floor, and if you take too long to get by, you'll get killed by the screen.
It doesn't demand perfection like some of these other ones do. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dale, do you want to talk about The Order 1886? I really don't like the name of that game, I have to say.
It's
so dumb.
It could be worse.
It's set in the past? 1886.
Honestly, it's I would rather that than, Kingdoms of Despair, The Sorrowing,
I guess.
All these fucking awful role-playing game names.
Yeah. The Order, I don't know what the Order means yet. The 1886 thing speaks to me, all right? It's kind of obvious what that means, but the Order, I have no idea what that is. Maybe that's one of those things I should have been, it's like a PR blurb I should have been paying attention to or whatever. But now that I've seen the game in action, I think it looks awesome, but I also still don't know how it plays.
It's one of those games that looks like it was made for gifts to happen, and that's about it, right now anyway.
There was a asset leak.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I think I know who leaked it. I'm on to something that hopefully... anyway, I won't get into that. But there was an asset leak, and people made GIFs of one of the gameplay movies, or there was one gameplay movie, and that was fun. That was fun for a lot of people just to look at those in the screenshots, and imaginations went wild. I followed a few threads in a few different places for the day before when that leaked, and people just they went nuts with it, man. To the point where marketing didn't even matter. All of us going to see this game didn't even matter because just those leaked screenshots and GIFs were enough for everyone. You could tell from those that the game looked gorgeous. People were analyzing some of them. They're like, "Oh, look at the body hit physics when he gets shot with the only one shot you can see in the whole fucking video, right?" But they're watching the GIF over and over and analyzing how the body reacts to the bullet being hit. The hype level on this game is ridiculous.
It is.
Because they actually managed to keep it secret and nothing shown for so long.
That's the magic trick. If there's anything I've learned from doing this for so long, it's you release something, just the slightest bit, and you have a mystical fucking name like The Order, and then you show something that looks really cool, but be really brief about it, right? And then don't say anything for forever, and then kind of do the same thing later.
Like
right?
Persona 5.
That's even worse. That's nothing. They've showed nothing about that game.
They showed a picture with chairs.
A chair is
They
with
did.
You can't really compare the two though, because Persona has that like crazy fan base, whereas this is
Yeah.
a completely new IP and everything,
That's true.
which is
Yeah.
the amazing part. That it's a brand new IP. It's a steampunk third-person shooter set in the past.
Are
Well, I mean, look,
vampires in it?
Sony has tried to really pump up the new Infamous game, which looks great, but I feel like no one really is that interested in it.
I feel that way too. I am. I'm really excited for it, but like I don't feel like the hype is up there, right?
Yeah,
It so should have been a launch title. That would have, yeah.
It would have been a big
It's
launch
unfortunate.
title. Yeah. I hope they didn't lose any steam because of
Exactly.
But the Order, it can be something really cool. It's just I'd hate to make a call on it yet because the gameplay we saw was short. There was a cover-based kind of like ducking, and you heard the Gears of War groans in the room. Like I was sitting there watching with probably 15 or 20 other journos, and they were like, ugh. It's very unfortunate because you don't want to judge a book by its cover, and you definitely don't want to judge a full game that's been in development for years for one kind of cover-based duck, right?
Have you been on the internet? They judge everything by the cover. Look at Titanfall.
Judge everything by the ducks.
Yeah, I try to.
How many
get
ducks
away
does this
from
game have? None? 0 out of 10.
Well, yeah, every Sony game should have a duck in it at least. There's a duck in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks good. So the one good thing I could say about the Order is it's fucking gorgeous. Like I don't understand how that game looks that good. In motion, this game looks like a movie a lot of times. I know we keep saying that, but like this tops anything that I've seen on a console so far as far as looking like something that was shot like a movie. Camera angles,
the
and film
presentation,
grain.
not just the visual fidelity. It's like
Right.
shot, same or movie shots almost. Yeah.
I'm glad we're finally at that point in this next gen cycle that evolved.
Thinking if we're at that point though.
I mean, at least we're seeing like hints of it. Whereas other games, like say Titanfall, looks great, but it's still kind of held back by the fact that there's a last gen version of the game.
Right.
At least with the Order and then Evolve, like these are all next gen, completely
Evolve
next gen
looks good.
titles. Yeah.
E3 should be pretty cool if
Mhm.
some of those are in store for us, like more new IPs or more things that are just like purely next gen. Should be pretty cool.
Graphics
I don't know.
too.
Yeah.
That's just me and Dale. But that's
yeah,
fine.
I think so. Yeah. If Square Enix shows any kind of things that I'm interested in at E3 this year, it's not going to be much. It's going to be a video or something. It'll be really.
They're not gonna have anything Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy. Who knows?
No, it probably Final Fantasy will be a video.
That trailer
8 years.
at E3 last year, holy shit, that was awesome. I'm not
It
even a
was.
Final Fantasy guy at all,
that
but
game's
damn.
been in development for 8 years.
Yeah. Dude, people lost their shit at E3. That double hit at the Sony press conference of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. People were fucking screaming. People stood up. There was professional people, myself included, that just lost it. You want to talk about hype? My God, we don't even know what that game is, and we're already excited.
There might be a good chance that Final Fantasy 15 will be there because that trailer also had gameplay in it at least, so there is that.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping at this point.
It's their baby, though.
They've
and-
shown gameplay for a while though,
No.
even before it was 15.
I guess that's true. Oh, Square.
Yeah, we don't know what we'll get.
You know how
Final
you were
Fantasy
saying
12
earlier
HD.
how Harmonix should do a new Power Up? At least with Square, they're like taking their old IPs they haven't touched in forever, and they're giving it to other developers, small developers.
Really? I don't see a new Bushido blade.
Where's Brave Fencer Musashi at?
What is the game that someone else is making now? I have to look it up.
I can't remember either. I'm blanking.
Yeah, it's not that important, I guess, that we can't remember off the top of our heads, but
Isn't that weird you guys out, though, that, like, the original, it's like, it's like having a good, like, ethnic dish in that country and then going to another country and having some version of that dish. Like, I guess it could be good, but, like, it still doesn't feel...
Yeah, if it's not that the same people making it, I don't really...
It's just the name, right?
Yeah, it's like the new Killer Instinct. It's just like, okay.
Okay, that, again, it might be good. but
Which
it's
is why Final Fantasy has always been good, because it could be different teams, but all the games were different. It's not,
Right.
they're not sequels. They're not. trying to continue the same story.
Yeah. Yep.
I know. I see what you're saying. It's like a psychological factor where even if the game's awesome, there's something in the back of your mind saying this isn't quite the same people, same team.
Well, it's just like why did this need to be this if it's
Yeah, why does it need to be called that? Are we that hard up for ideas that we can't just think of something ourselves?
We thought of like 5 ideas right here on the show.
I know.
And one of them is good.
I know.
Yeah, that bowling one's gonna be a killer IP, right?
I think you'd be surprised.
Happen.
I think you'd be surprised. That could be really
Super Monkey Ball bowling was really good.
I like the mini games in Super Monkey Ball so much. Those are great.
The pool billiards game.
Or the one where you go down a ramp and you sort of like can hang glide onto a target.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Pilot Wingsy.
Those games.
There's really not much else for us to talk about. I did want to say that the year of Luigi is ending.
No.
Well, Nintendo's mistaken, clearly. They think it's
Nintendo thinks it can end the year of Luigi, but Nintendo loosed the year of Luigi onto the world, and they aren't getting it back.
It's become its own thing. It's out of their hands, man.
They can close their official Miiverse channel. That is not where the year of Luigi lives.
Are they closing the channel?
They are.
That's fucking Nintendo for you. Why would you close a channel?
The thing that should happen, and we should rally people, is every other Miiverse channel should become the Luigi channel.
Like what Pato did for the William Dafoe thing.
Exactly.
Never forget Luigi. You're Luigi.
The decade of Luigi.
Oh,
Yeah, it is just the era of Luigi. It's year 2AL on a Luigi. Like that's just what life is now. They can't turn it back. They can't stop it. They can't change it. It's done.
That would be great, and like a bunch of Mega Man's what comes to mind. But any of those games or fiction where it says 20XX, the year 20XX, Nintendo should just start using the year of Luigi for its timelines.
So what you're saying is there'll be an indie developed break-off team that does the top-down RTS Metroidvania of Luigi.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I can't wait.
Me too.
Capcom says they're gonna think about God Hand on Steam.
Don't tease.
They're like, hey, just keep asking, it'll happen, and then you go, yeah, just like Mega Man. Just like Breath of Fire. Thank you for that Breath of Fire iOS game. Thanks, Capcom.
Just personal effort. Yeah, and Breath of Fire as well. God Hand and Breath of Fire. I've done enough alone for them to... They need asking fuel?
Yeah,
Jeez.
Don't hold out for God Hand on Steam.
2 more games.
The PS3 is going to be cheap enough eventually that you can just buy one as a dedicated God Hand machine because you can buy God Hand off the PSN. Just play God Hand on it. If you don't have one already.
I feel like them and some other companies, they only say give us feedback because then they'll do it on their own and say, oh, you guys helped, and trying to make us feel good like we did them a favor, whatever.
Great PR, yeah.
They have their own plans, and we're probably not a part of it, so.
What's their fucking threshold? Like, keep asking.
For one short, we can't make it. Nope.
Yeah.
Shut down that developer.
We know you want it because we've heard you asking, so we're going to tell you to keep asking.
Capcom needs to institute the White House petitions where if something hits a number of votes, they have to consider it. And then at least we can say, look, we gave you the damn votes. You said no still to making a new Mega Man or making a new whatever or making Resident Evil not suck. So
there's a Resident Evil not suck must consider petition. Let's do it.
Yeah. Also, can we get one to just delete the existence of Resident Evil 5?
That's a little harsh.
Why not 6?
And 6 while we're at it too.
5 is worse.
No.
Yes.
5 is just a clone
5,
of 4 at least.
Yeah, exactly. It's a clone that does everything worse, and it has at least 6 they tried to make a new game. They may have failed and did something bad, but 5 literally is the same game but broken.
But bonus racism, man, that's good, right? No, that's not. That didn't happen.
Yeah, we definitely didn't fight people in full tiki attire. No, that didn't happen. I do like that
you had
game.
You had a light-skinned AI partner.
That game, they just kept changing. Every time someone complained, it kept changing.
The beginning of that game is the Resident Evil 4 intro, but
It is.
stupider.
It is. The dude with sunglasses and the megaphone yelling
Yeah.
at you, and a guy with a giant axe for some reason.
The
Yeah,
only reason it was worth playing was for all the Wesker bits.
I agree.
Especially the stuff at the end with the rock punching and the lava fight and all that. But other than that, ugh. Total global saturation.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jill and her.
See, that's the bad
Outfit.
thing is like Resident Evil 4 just mostly divorced itself from all this stupid Resident Evil spider canon, and Resident Evil 5 just went back to it, and it's like this is all
Spider
dumb
canon?
and stupid.
What are you talking about? I don't
If
follow.
you not like the giant tarantulas from the.
I mean the canon, which is just this tangled mess of stupid
Oh,
bullshit that doesn't make
okay.
any sense.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Japanese storytelling for you.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I've seen good Japanese storytelling.
At least in games. Maybe Persona. Persona's the exclusion.
Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush is amazing.
Okay, we're gonna have to limit the number of times you say those two words in an
You have to
episode.
pay us every time you say it from now on.
Unless we get sponsored by Gravity Rush, I don't want to hear it.
Oh God, please.
Yeah. Do we want to wrap this up? I don't have anything left to say.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Okay, you can check us out on Twitter. I'm at DToyJordan. Dale is at Dale North. Just your name. I'm so terrible at this. Steven is at DToydSteven. Hamza is at CTC. Bill is at Bill Zoker. I think.
Bill is the person who's helping produce this show right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Behind the
Our
scenes.
Thanks,
engineer,
Bill.
producer. He's awesome. That was
Don't
him.
say Gravity Rush.
Yes. See, this is why we love Bill.
This is Bill in his little production
Oh my gosh.
section.
No one does.
Hey, I'm on the
There's an
screen.
infinite version of you. Look at that.
Whoa! Holy shit!
We will be back next week. You can find this on YouTube. It's also on iTunes if you search for Destructoid Hardline. Yeah. Thanks for listening.